What's going on, people? For the first time in what feels like a little bit, got one of these live things to go through. Got some shoes here in this bag that I picked up Thursday, I think, and these here in this box that I picked up, I think on the first, maybe, or well, no, the 31st. Either way, they those came from Brooks at some point recently. They were pretty quick with the shipping. I think they shipped out on Saturday and they got here Monday. So yesterday, yeah. As far as these go, starting with the Nike ones, right? That bag, running, etc. That's one of the local running shoe stores around here. I got these from there. There was had a gift card thing to use, so that brought these down to 218. But I think the retail price was like 270, something like that. So fairly expensive. But anyway, so there's going to be this side of the box, right? Zoom X, Vaporfly, Next, 4%. I don't know what any of that means. I'm going to tell you right now, people. This model is like completely new to me, right? So if you're looking for something informative to watch, this is not going to be it because this is just a shoe to me, right? I know that it's carbon plated and that's about as far as that goes. Usually I do a little bit more research, but this just didn't quite happen that way, right? Let's start with the box though. So this, right, on the top side, no human is limited. On the back end, got some colorful swooshes. Same thing over there, right? Then back again on the front side. Bottom, nothing down there. Opening things up on the inside, what's that? You have got to get a team that believes in your dream, right? Which makes sense, kind of helps you get through stuff, I suppose. And you can kind of see this is the paper that goes around the shoes. I'll pull this out real quick so you can see, because it basically says the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Let's get these shoes out of the way first. But it is a very cool packaging. Like that was one of the things that kind of sold me initially. Set that down there. So, no human is limited. That's what this is looking like. And we'll put that over there. So a couple weeks ago, before these actually hit the streets, which was the 30th, a couple weeks before that, I was at the store and they let me get a quick little look at them and all that stuff, right? And I saw the box and everything. And well, that's really cool, right? And this is one of those things that honestly, I'll just tell you right now, I was never super interested in the model itself, right? Because I tend to just wear other stuff. I have some Nike running shoes. I just tend to wear other stuff, right? And this one also just looks weird. But for what it was, right, the whole Kipchoge thing, and then also like the presentation, I was like, you know what? This could be something cool to have, right? If I'm going to get one of these fancy high-ish end running shoes from Nike, this is probably the time to do it. So that's what happened. So now you know why we're here, right? And why I don't really know a whole lot about it. Don't get me wrong. I understand that I've had time to learn about it. I just chose not to. This right here, the Nike Zoom X Vaporfly 4 in the Kipchoge colorway, right? Let's go get on into some things down there. Let's flip that around. It says fly plate in there. I guess that's what they're calling their carbon plates, right? Otherwise, looks pretty well grippy on the front piece, On the back end, it kind of reminds me a lot of the Tokyo Metaspeed Edge and Sky, right? Has a very similar look to me. Up here, midsole wise though, in the back end, you got the branding thing again. No human is limited. On the inside, it just says Zoom X, right? And you have this little hologram type of swoosh there. If you catch from the right angle, let's just had it. There you go. And otherwise, nice little gradient going from a purplish color back into the white with some orange kind of lining things out. And you can kind of see the plate just a little bit down here on the outside. One other thing that you may not have seen, so I was quick to move the shoes around. There, that's not really focusing. It says the original super shoe, I think. Yeah, the original super shoe. That's kind of what that text is down there around the shoe. I think it's kind of showing up. You'll see it in the pictures whenever I do the actual video, because I got all the pictures taken the other day, so that's kind of why I even know that that's there. Anyway, so as far as this upper goes, right, it's very thin. You can kind of see that. You can see right on through there, right? Get fingers and stuff in there. So very cool. That's a common thing with a lot of these higher end shoes and even some that aren't super high end. They keep them light and they keep them clear. So I do like that. It gives you the extra breathability. It's a very cool thing, right? Then moving on back here, you got a nice big green swoosh. Kind of dips down onto the bottom piece, like under the midsole there. Then goes on to the upper and all the way back for the most part, right? Speaking of, not a whole lot going on back here. Got the little Nike thing on the top. Flip this thing up. Got a Ford under there, so that's something. What was it? The Adios Pro 4 was also the same way. It had a little flip up piece in the back, right? Or was it the front? I think it was pretty sure it was the back. I haven't worn those in a while, so it's kind of very foggy memories. Moving back over to the front piece, right? So I will say you got these nice little lace pieces on the front here. Kind of helps keep these laces in place so they're not all sliding around, which is a thing you will not want. Once you get moving around and stuff, you want your laces to stay where they are and stay locked in, you know? The laces also themselves got a little bit of a grip on the side of there, right? As far as like friction and stuff to kind of help them not move around so much. So I do like that. And on the tips, they have these little green pieces, kind of like a green and blue. It's not focused at all, but again, take my word for it, or just wait for the pictures, or look at another review. I'm sure there are several out there. I mean, these aren't new anymore, really. Top of the tongue here, got a little bit of branding going on there that says what? Nike Vaporfly 04 with a little bit of a swoosh under the bottom there. So that's open that up a little bit and kind of see it. And that normal split sort of tongue thing that you have on a lot of shoes. Around the sock liner here, you do have a pretty minimal thing, but I like this padding in the back. That's kind of a big deal, at least to me, right? Because you want some nice padding back there. The one thing that I'm a little skeptical of, and I haven't really seen any complaints, so I'm guessing it should be fine, but this piece here, it looks like it'll sit far enough back that it won't really be like rubbing up on the back of your heel or anything like that. But it just seems like it's something to be concerned about, possibly. But again, I might be wrong on that. This model's been around for a bit, and I would imagine if it was, that'd probably be a thing that I would have heard about just from people that have them and stuff. Moving on into the inside, down in there, orange and green. So it just says like Kipchoge, and has a couple of those little Nike swooshes that they, I guess, combined later to make like one big swoosh. So that's really all that's going on in there, right? Not a whole lot, right? But the thing is, the big thing about these is that they are very light. I don't know the exact weight because, again, didn't really do any of the research before this. I saw them at the store and I thought, oh, that seems cool. And that was kind of enough to sell me on it, right? I had plenty of time to look things up before I actually bought them. But again, sometimes you just don't care a whole lot. You're just like, I'm getting this regardless. It doesn't really matter what the details are looking like. And I tried them on initially in the store. They are kind of like they feel narrow-ish in a way, right? A lot of people say that about Nikes. But for me, after that, I tried a 10 on, and the 10 was like a little too roomy, you know? So just know that going into these, the fit of them can be a little bit weird maybe, but I ended up sticking with the true to size. I'm just slipping these on right now to get a reminder of things, because yeah, they feel like width-wise, like side to side, not a whole lot, right? But front to back, I do have like just enough room in front of the toe that I think things are going to be fine, you know? And they don't look like there's too crazy of a drop in here. I'm not sure what it is, but when I walked around in the store in these, short version of this, they felt fine. So hopefully they feel fine when I go out and start running in them. I'll find that out in a couple weeks because I'll probably be breaking these out for this half marathon towards the end of the month. That's the plan right now. But I will say, just off of the sizing, true to size is working out for me. And like I was getting into before this, it is a carbon plated shoe, and it's also a high-ish end running shoe. So it's not going to feel comfortable in any situation outside of running, right? And even then, that's still kind of a toss-up. But like walking around in these and things that are just built similarly, it's not going to be great. So if you decide to try these on in the store or something like that, because you're thinking about buying them, and you put them on and you think, oh, these aren't very comfortable, they're not going to be. But if you were running in them, they probably would be. So keep that in mind if you do, again, go decide to try these on somewhere. And that goes with a lot of the performance running shoes, at least from what I've noticed. And I've I'm no like, authority on the matter, or no expert in the field, or however you want to say it. I have a lot of stuff though, and I can only share my opinion and how things have worked out for me. And that's how things have worked out for me. Moving on, got this box here. This comes in from Brooks, right? You can't quite see that, but if you saw the title of this video, then you might know that, right? Though I think I only put like Ghost Max 3, and so maybe if you're not up on Brooks models, that may not mean anything to you. But I will say this, a while ago, months ago, when was June? Like how many months ago? June was a while ago. That's when I first tried out the Ghost Max 2. And I was like, from the first moments of running in those, I was like, this is going to be a new favorite for me. Because I had never worn them at all. And then I just wore them to like was it like a 5 or 6 mile run? 5, I think. Whatever it was, National Running Day. And I was like, man, this is something. And so I promoted those in a way to a lot of people, like, hey, these are something you should check out if you need this or that. And people would ask me what kind of shoes they should buy, which is a question I get from time to time. So when the 3 came around, not exactly this one, but just in general, I thought to myself, well, yeah, let's see what that's all about, because I liked the second one a whole lot. Maybe I'll like the third one. Try the third one on in a store, it felt fine, I had no complaints about it. But at the same time, the color was kind of bland, and I'm not about that. We got some stuff in here. I don't know what that's talking about. But either way, so here's the thing. I have one of those virtual Disney run things coming up. It's not a 5K. It's a little shorter. It's not a 3K because, that just kind of doesn't roll off the tongue, right? And then it must be a 4K then, because it's like 2-something miles. I don't know why they did it like that way. But either way, so at some point, there's some little lace things if you want to decorate stuff. So I got that coming up. Hold that up a little longer so you can kind of see what all is really going on in there. So yeah, I got this thing coming up, and I thought, okay, well, that could be something to do. So maybe I'll get some of these Disney Brooks shoes because, why not? And I'll wear these when I do that, which that thing kicks off next month, right? I did one a couple months ago for the summer. Now I'm just doing another one. And I do have the actual Disney World run in April, March, whenever WrestleMania is. I know that it's the same weekend, and I'm kind of not thrilled about that. But either way, we got that coming up. Also a little bit in the back there too with the Mickey guy. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick up some of these shoes, and maybe it'll be something to wear to those events, right? Because I could do that, I suppose. And since this is a model that I wanted to check out, it just made sense, right, to go ahead and do that. There is something on this side, I guess. I don't know what's going on with that. Not the biggest deal, but whatever. So if you saw the side of the box, this right here, the Brooks Ghost Max 3 in some kind of wine and dine Disney colorway. This was released for the 2025 half marathon weekend. Says that down on the inside. So again, I'm just figured I'll wear something festive for the upcoming thing. Excuse me. So this one right here, right? It's looking pretty similar. I didn't bring out the Ghost Max 2, but it's looking very similar to how that was as far as like the structure and everything goes. So right off the top, that's pretty cool. But down on the bottom, same sort of thing as you expect from a lot of shoes of this style, right? A little bit wider, right? This is kind of in that walk/run category or whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be a bit wider and all that stuff. I don't believe it's a stability shoe. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. Again, I'll have all the details whenever I actually talk about it. Nice little midsole there going on with the DNA loft and all that. I used to know like all the differences between those DNA things back when I got all those Brooks shoes or in the beginning of the year. But after running around in them, you just start to realize like, okay, like which ones do I like, which ones don't I like as far as models go. So the way these felt before, I was into it. It felt like nice, and it wasn't like stiff, but it wasn't like cushiony either. It was like right there in that middle ground, which is what I like anyways. So that was kind of why they worked out so well for me. Anyways, as far as the upper goes, it is kind of a thicker feeling mesh that they have on here. It's probably one of those dual layer things. So not going to be as light and breathable as other stuff that you might have, but hey, it is what it is. And then moving all around there, I guess on the back, that's the thing from the that globe, that little golf ball looking thing that they have down there, whatever that is. A little more Brooks labeling on the inside. These laces, I'm just going to say this right now, not a fan. It's a little too much for me, right? It's cool in the sense that there's actually like a texture to those Mickey heads or whatever on there, because like they're like little bits of plastic like laid on the laces. So to make that, I mean, I can appreciate the effort that went into it. It's just like the visual is kind of weird to me, a little childish in a lot of ways, but whatever. And then the Ghost Max 3 labeling up at the top, right? So you can kind of see what shoe you're wearing. And on this one, on the inside, it just says Brooks. So there you go. There's that. But yeah, not bad. It's a pretty simple thing. And the reason I got these, like I said, was just because I have one of those. Well, I guess I have a couple of those Disney runs coming up. And I thought, why not? Now, when it comes time for the one that's actually in Florida, there they often have like the new Disney releases there, so you can kind of get them in person and all that stuff at the little expo center or something like that. So maybe I'll be able to do that for that time frame. But at least for right now, for the one next month, it'll just be kind of cool to run around in these, I guess. So, and like I said, I also wanted to really try out the Ghost Max 3 since I like the 2 so much. Hopefully these work out as well as the 2 did, because those, I mean, it's a little early to talk about, like, well, actually, no, it's not. Like this whole shoe of the year conversation, I guess now is probably the time to start thinking about it, but that might be in there in the running for me at least. So we'll see. We'll see. And what I was talking about down on in here, see you have this little white mark on the side there, like in the DNA area, whereas that's not supposed to be there, but it is there. So, I mean, I don't like it, but I also, at the same time, whatever, dude. Like, I'm not going to be wearing these all the time. It doesn't matter. Nobody's paying that much attention to me. I'm not going to be thinking about this when I'm doing it, running and stuff. So, whatever. Sizing. Let's talk about it. These are feeling pretty all right. You don't have much, like I was just saying with like this other shoe over here. It doesn't seem like there's as much like in the side to side so much. And maybe it could also be the lacing. Sometimes like out of the box, the laces can just be a little bit tight, So it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of room in there, but I think that's more on the lacing than anything. But in the toe box area, like everything's feeling pretty fine there. You got a lot of room to move your toes around, so I do like that. It's not going to be as light as a lot of things, but it still feels flexible enough, so that's cool. So all in all, true to size is working out fine for me. If these are like the last ones, they should be like a 6mm drop, right? Which means they should be pretty level across. So how I feel right now is probably how I feel when I stand up, because sometimes if something is a little too steep when you stand up, then you kind of feel like there's less room in the front because you're kind of sliding to the front in a way, right? So I don't think that that'll be an issue. So I'm going to stand by the true to size thing on this for now, and likely will stand by it in the future too when it comes time to do the actual reviews and such. But otherwise, past that, I can't speak too much on like the comfort and stuff, but so far, it looks like they haven't changed too much, and if that's the case, things should be good. But I can't call it just yet, So that's why it's been taking me so long to do these reviews and stuff. I do a lot of running and whatnot. It's the reason I'm dressed like this is because it's Wednesday and it's run club night, and I just came back from that, just trying to knock these things out, right? So I go out often to, in the streets and the trails or whatever the case may be, but it still takes a while to get through things. I mean, I spent like was it last week? Yeah, last week going through like the Metafuji Trail and the Sonic Blast, right? Because I was like back and forth each day, like doing stuff with all of those or both of those, right? So I'm mostly through. Actually, I think I'm through everything at this point, minus what is that? The Vomero Premium. I honestly completely forgot I had those until a couple days ago, but I think maybe yesterday. So still got to work through the Vomero Premium, and then these will be later in the month. But I will say I got some other content coming around. That's where I'm going with that, I guess. But either way, as far as these go, it shouldn't be too long for me to get to them, I don't think, because a lot of the stuff on the back burner is done. So I'm going to do a real quick recap of the things that I've picked up here. Then I'm going to move on because I don't have anything else left to say. Started off with this, the Kipchoge Vaporfly 4. I don't have a whole lot to say about it because I don't know a whole lot about it. It's carbon plated, means you're going to run real fast. Moved on to this right here. Let's get that out of the way. This is the Disney Ghost Max 3 from the Wine and Dine half marathon weekend, right? So pick these up because I liked the Ghost Max 2, and the 3 should be pretty all right. And I have a little Disney stuff to do coming up soon, so why not dress appropriately, right? The last time I did a virtual 5K thing for them was, there's like 3 of them, and I ran them all back to back to back. Like I went out to like Mount Trashmore and I ran 3 miles, changed shoes, ran 3 miles, changed shoes, ran 3 miles again. It was not my best decision. And then also, like I was doing it like going for negative splits. Like the first one was like 8:30. I think the second one was like 8. Then the next one after that was like 7:45 as far as like each individual 5K. So yeah, I don't know why I was doing that. It sounded fine in my head until I started doing it, but I'd already started. So then I'm like, well, there's no turning back now. Either way, so yeah, enough for me. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever's wherever you are. I've rambled on for a little over 20 minutes. Also rambled on a whole lot this morning recording other reviews, so you'll see me wearing a Swerve Strickland shirt and a couple things at some point in the next coming weeks. But for now, I'm good. I'm going to have a little something to drink because I am crazy thirsty over here. And it might be because I've been talking a lot lately, or it might be that I could possibly also just be dehydrated from running around a lot, not drinking a lot. That's more than likely what the problem is, honestly. So I'm going to go deal with that. Thanks for showing up, watching this, listening to it, whatever you did with it. Ignoring it, that's also an option too. Whatever you did, if you clicked on this for any amount of time, I do appreciate that. But for now, goodbye to you. We'll cross paths maybe in the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Later, people. Where's this button?